Wait, how long is it?
All right, welcome back, children. This is another one of our videos in the How to Arm Wrestling series, and you are in for a treat tonight, or today, or in the morning. I have no idea when you're watching this video. Our guest today is Lisa Wolfley, who has multiple world championships. I know you won the world championship this year in Orlando. When did you win your first one?
Yes. 2010 is when I won my first one, but it took me 4 years of going to Worlds to earn that title.
So you won one in 2010, one in 2011. It took you 4 years. So you went to, did you go to the 2006, 7, 8, and 9 championships?
No, I went to 2006, 7, 8, 9, right. And then I didn't win 2011. I didn't go. But then 2016 in Malaysia, I went and I took a gold there.
So you've got 3 world titles.
Yes.
Yes, 3 times, triple threat. All right, well, what we are here is to talk about your recent tournament. Where was it? Texas?
In Tyler, Texas.
Lindale, Texas is correct. Tyler is where the airport was, but the
Oh,
tournament.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
And the name of the restaurant was what?
Brisket Love.
Brisket Love. Okay, so this is your first match. And what is this young lady's name?
I think that's I'm sorry, I don't remember. Molek is her last name?
Well, okay, I think you told me. I'll look it up. This is how we roll here on this channel. Was her first name Kim?
Give me just a second. I can tell you.
Okay, well, we got time. I think you told me.
I did, but I wrote them down.
All right, well, we should have. This is the sort of homework that I need an assistant. This Craig Andy Davis is okay. Here we go. This is Kimberly, and the other one is Eliza. Okay, so Kimberly.
That's right.
Okay, so this Kimberly, I think this was one of her early tournaments, maybe even her first one. I don't. Yeah, we talked to her for a little bit. Not real experienced. You are not capping here, right?
I didn't feel like I needed to do that at all.
And you knew stepping up that she was a beginner, so you weren't worried about this match at all.
No. Not at all.
So for those of you playing at home, well, everybody's at home watching this. You can see Lisa's kind of got her hip up against the table. She's angled a little bit, got her shoulder lined up either equal or behind her arm. Kimberly, our newbie, is square to the table. So she's touching the table somewhere around the middle of her belly. And this puts her shoulder not behind her hand, but back away from it. So Kimberly's not going to be able to generate any side pressure from here. The best she could do is maybe pull on her bicep. You also notice, look how much taller Lisa is. She stands up tall, her shoulder's closer to her hand. So watching this from home, you can tell this is a experienced puller versus a amateur. And but I don't think Lisa's met her before now and made short work of her. So there's not a whole lot to say about this, except this was the first ladies. This is your first match of the night, and this is the left-handed class. Do you know anything? Do you notice anything odd about the left-handed class?
Yeah, we went right.
You went right. It happens to the best of us. I pulled
Yeah,
Don Underwood in a super match for money, right-handed, and the table was set up left-handed. Me, Don, and the refs didn't notice. It was the audience later. So
Yeah,
this is we reset up. Same girl. I don't even think you girls left the stage, but now you're pulling left. But you know her now. She's set up kind of the same way. So she just needs some time, but this is what I wanted to highlight. Because her shoulder wasn't behind her hand, her whole body's facing her hand as it goes down, where had she turned with her left shoulder and her left hip tighter to the table, she would have appeared stronger, but she just wasn't stopping you. You're all over her hand. You got her forearm facing up. She's looking down.
yeah,
So this is you and Stephanie Spencer. Now you've pulled Stephanie a few times, right?
correct.
Have you pulled her left-handed?
Never left-handed,
Mm.
no.
So, and you can see the absolutely horrid camera work, right? Your cameraman is actually filming another cameraman filming this. So it's like looking into a mirror, into a mirror, into a mirror. I can't remember this. Oh, I love these WAF starts, man. I think every arm wrestling match should spend 40 minutes. What the hell is that drunk cameraman doing? Okay, this looks a little better. All right, so we're into the rest grip, which is about as fair as you can get in a WAF start. So what's your plan with Stephanie left-handed here?
Well, first of all, she shouldn't have gotten me in a ref grip or in a strap.
You're not in a
But my
strap
plan,
yet, so don't kill the ending of the movie.
I'm just saying, so I have practiced and pulled so much in the WAL grip, so the ref grip is something that I'm, pretty good at. I think, the ref grip is fair. Anyways, my whole thing with Stephanie was trying to get through her arm. She's super strong now. It's just that she has that floppy wrist.
Yeah, she's been pulling for a while, and she by letting her, I don't know if she's doing this on purpose. Her stance is horrid in here. She still sets up like a beginner. She's doing better because she is getting stronger, but her stance is horrid. Her right shoulder is as far forward or more than her left. She should be turned like you are. You've got your left hip up against the table. Stephanie's addressing the table square. But by her letting her hand go like this, it allows her to generate a lot of height with that wrist, and you actually lose leverage on her.
Right.
I mean, this is the whole Jerry Caderet style of arm wrestling, except Jerry does it on an offensive side. But somebody who's conditioned to this and doesn't let that weight, it can be very hard to pin somebody here and slip out from them. But your form is good. I mean, obviously, because you're a 3-time. I'm not telling you what you don't know. This is for the people at home. But you can see Lisa's got her head way down close to the table. Her hand and her shoulder are tight, where you can't see Stephanie's shoulder, but her elbow is opened up quite a bit here. And it slips, which I think is what she was doing. If I could slip like that, I would too. My problem is people grab a hold of my fingers and still pin me. So we're in the straps. Now this should benefit Stephanie because she is strong, but someone's got to correct her stance here. And
but when in the strap, it's a little bit different, right?
Well, it is, because you can't let what happens in the strap. This was my theory. What happens in the strap is that strap supports her wrist a little bit. So it's very hard to flop. If the strap is tight, it's hard to flip your wrist all the way off because you're pulling, your strap's low, her strap is low. She can't hardly flip that wrist over because as her wrist tries to flop over, you take her hand, it keeps tightening it here on your wrists. So this becomes a classic match, just arm to arm. So she is strong, and the strap corrected her form a little bit. Her forearm isn't belly up. If you notice, you can't hardly see it just to the end. But right then, before she pins, the belly of her forearm isn't up. When you flopped over her hand, the belly of her forearm is pointing towards the ceiling. She actually kept her arm in better position, but her stance is almost opposite of what it should be. Now her right shoulder is definitely in front of her left. And then this is Elizabeth, the girl with the hat.
Yes, that's
Again,
right.
left-handed. Now she looked like she's pulled before, but I'm unfamiliar with her. Have you pulled her before?
Never.
What did you feel when you're gripping up with her at this point?
I was a little bit nervous. I was told that she came to take the tournament, and I thought she had been a seasoned arm wrestler.
Yeah.
But after I gripped up with her, she does look good up there. But not right there.
No, well, yeah, I mean, you beat her, but I mean, everybody gets beat. But if we look at her, I can't. There's too many people. Your cameraman is an idiot because somehow he put two people between himself and the match. But
Oh,
she's losing here, but her
looks
hand's
good.
in good shape. Her knuckles are high. Her shoulder's tight. She's just being overwhelmed by somebody stronger than her. No,
right.
she couldn't.
So,
Yeah, you twisted her out a little there, but and it's just hard to dig an arm out from there. But she obviously has some training and experience, so she actually did good. I think this is just a case of the better arm wrestler just beating her. There's no obvious flaws in her match right there. Her hand's in good shape. I don't like, it's weird how she's looking straight down at the table. I think if her eyes are up a little bit higher, it would arch her back. That might help, but that's a preference thing. So this is you and Stephanie. So this must be for first place because you're pulling Stephanie again.
Must be.
Yeah. And wow, you're gripping really low. But yeah, that hand goes.
I tried to get her wrist down a little.
And you did. If you noticed, she wasn't able to dump it as much that way. So when you gripped her low like you did, okay, so then it goes and the wrist goes. See, you can see her she needs to get this hip needs to be touching this table. But even though her hand goes and her hand's wide open at this point, so she's probably would be happy to slip under, but she couldn't buckle her wrist all the way up. You still had enough purchase on her to just drag her down.
Right.
So that takes a lot of power because at this point you're almost effectively grabbing her by the wrist. But if she would correct that stance, I think she would feel significantly stronger. Even if she lets her hand go, she would be able to prop that arm up. So, oh yeah, wait, why are we pulling again? I don't know. Maybe I filmed the match twice. Maybe the cameraman's like really a mess. Oh, the ref stopped it before. Oh, it must have been a foul. Oh,
I elbow fouled. I elbow fouled on that. Yeah, I fouled out on that match, I thought.
Still no fouls, and you didn't get into the strap. See, you didn't grip as low that time. It doesn't look like.
No.
You didn't because you're still kind of high, so that allows that wrist to go under. And if she really dedicated to this, if she bent her knees and shoved that wrist up, man, I think you'd have a hard time. Oh, she pulled out. She pulled out backwards. Okay, now we're back to right-handed.
Yeah.
This is woohoo! You win first hand, left hand, first place, left hand. And we saw this match in the left hand class. All right. So now it's you and Stephanie. Her stance looks a little better right-handed. You're just bullying them in the center. I mean, you're stronger than everybody, right?
I was trying to get in her head.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. You see how your back is arched and your chin's up, right? Your chin's high. Where these other girls, even her back is arched the wrong way. They're kind of stooped over the table, which pulls their hips away. So which also tends to open up their the elbow a little bit. So those of you playing at home, Stephanie's been arm wrestling for a few years, but you can see how her back is curved forward, and you can see how tall Lisa's standing. I don't know the height difference between you in real life, but you're definitely several inches taller than her right now at the table. So how is she right-handed? Does she feel exactly the same left-handed?
Yes, I'm so much stronger right-handed, so yeah, she's stronger right-handed too, but nowhere near my strength.
Did they cap you?
I think so on that one.
In
Play
that
it
rest
again.
grip? I think you're capped.
Yep, they did. Yeah, I
think
told
you're-
him yes, that I
Okay.
wanted to cap.
And the wrist went. Wow, but man, that's some flexibility.
Yep, there is
That, I'll tell you what, that was a very, look at this. It's not such a good for arm wrestling, but there's a lot of color in this picture. So I just like your shiny little red shoes and this little hackberry trees. Of course, this giant hand on this guy covers up everything.
covers everything up.
This is not Sports Center, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know what to say about that. Okay, so basically this is you and Stephanie. This must be for first place again.
Yeah.
So your grip, you're not capped this time. Not only are you not capped, you've actually got your thumb locked on top of your index finger. And once again, you see this, ladies and gentlemen, see how Lisa's back is arched up and her head's high and her chin's high. Look how low Stephanie's chin is. Stephanie's line of sight is going down and Lisa's is going like right over the top of her head. Lisa's definitely standing taller than Stephanie is. And you actually look square to the table here, but you've pulled her several times today, so because this is all in her hand. Yeah. Yeah, she not only does she flop her wrist, she actually lets go. Look how her fingers and stuff are open too. Yeah. But so you just basically locked onto her thumb and pulled her down.
Yeah.
All right. So we're basically at the end of the tape. So Coach Lisa, you're not going to be competing forever. Let's say your job is to coach Stephanie in her next tournament. What do you tell her?
Oh my gosh. Well, I would be coaching her.
Not against you. You're coach. You're just trying to make her overall better. We're not striving for victory here. We just want to make everybody excellent.
Well, first of all, like I said, she's super strong and she needs to work on her wrist and her hand, especially her wrist strength. And I know she's a power lifter. She needs to like put that aside and focus on her hand and wrist. And also, like you said, the way she sets up.
Yeah.
Definitely the way she sets up.
Power lifters usually have pretty good finger strength, but they don't have good wrist strength because the bar is always loading their arms straight.
Right.
I would agree with everything you said, but even if she's going to flop that wrist, if she capped and got her knuckles higher, that would force you to pull her over more before the wrist kind of went. So I think I would tell her for the next couple of weeks, try to train with these knuckles instead of making this angle. See if she can't set up, like Dave Patton, the East Coast people top roll, like Travis and Dave Patton and those guys with those knuckles high coming back. Because she's, like you said, she's strong. She should use this upper body to do that. And if you're going to stand up square to the table like this, you should be pulling backwards, not sideways. because this is how a top roller sets up. Square to the table, usually both feet under it, and they go backwards. She's set up like a top roller and then trying to arm wrestle sideways. But no matter what, she's got to get this chin up. This is that's not helpful. Anything else for Stephanie or anything
No.
else for the people listening at home?
No, just keep working out, keep pulling. You'll get it.
All right, let's go back to, okay, what would we tell Kimberly? It's hard to tell her too much because I'm not so sure if this wasn't like her fourth, fifth, and sixth arm wrestling match ever. She strikes me as very, very new.
Right, but I seen her post on Facebook where she had been at other tournaments and people were proud of her for what she accomplished there that weekend.
Well, one thing she does right is at least her chin's higher, not as high as yours, but at least she's got her stance a little bit better. She doesn't have her chin sitting down on her chest. So she's learning. She's had some training. She just struck me as a beginner. Now trying to find Elizabeth with a hat. There she is. She's another one. What would we tell Elizabeth with the hat?
Well, she needs a little bit more forearm strength. I would tell her to, arm wrestle more, go to more practices. She's got a good setup.
Yeah.
She needs to look up, like you said, stand up tall. Looks like her body's going down with her arm.
Yeah. No, I think I think she knows what to do, or at least she's got the basics in. It's just, it takes it takes a few years worth of tournaments to get comfortable. Right here, I don't have a fault with her. That her hand and her shoulder are tight. I wish she would look up just a little bit more. I wish she would twist the shoulder a little bit more, but I think that will all come naturally with her. Any advice you would give any other beginners out there, not necessarily these people, but just, let's say people at home watching have only been arm wrestling for a year or two, what would you tell them?
Well, if I'm talking to the women, the new women arm wrestlers, I would say, like I said before, just keep pulling. Don't let anybody tell you, men especially, that was in my case.
Those bastards.
Don't let anybody tell you that arm wrestling is not feminine. Don't let anybody tell you that girls aren't supposed to have muscles, because us girls who have muscles, we look pretty good. We're pretty sexy. Plus, if we arm wrestle and have muscle, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, I would say that don't let anybody bring you down. Do what you want, do your passion. If your passion is arm wrestling, go out there and do it. Find those tournaments. Like you said earlier, it's okay to lose, even though it sucks. Especially if you're losing to a multi-world champion arm wrestler, don't feel so bad. 3
times. This is a pretty feminine picture of arm wrestling right here. These are a couple of very cute girls arm wrestling. Look at all these dudes staring at them.
It's funny, I'm always on my tippy toes. I can't get past that.
But you are coming down low. You definitely got your form right. And she had those Gene Simmons shoes on too. She had those shoes with the elevated soles, which I did that for a year or two, experiment with the riser, experiment with the tall shoes. That's usually a sign of someone who's arm wrestled for a year or two and is just looking for that edge. My experience, man, it just takes 3 to 4 years to hit the national level. And I haven't seen anybody short circuit that. Even in the age of YouTube, where you can go out and edit your own highlight reel, it still takes about 3 or 4 years to get to the national level. Well, Miss Lisa, I don't have anything else to add. Do you?
No, I don't. This has been fun. I appreciate you and what you do for the arm wrestling world, sharing your knowledge. That's pretty big of you.
Are you flirting with me?
Maybe.
All right. Well, I'm going to end recording. You don't go away. I'm going to stop the recording.